But yeah, speaking of the fever, this is Caitlin Clark at All-Star Weekend. And let's take a listen.
I swear she doesn't miss any shots, so I'm just really glad she's on my team and I get to be her teammate, and she obviously makes my life really easy, so I hope that's like the only time in my entire career that she's on the other team, or the other All-Star games. I guess I can allow it, but still, I would prefer she's on my side, so, but she's incredible in everything that she does.
So obviously, Caitlin Clark wants to play with Kelsey Mitchell. And you're allowed, by the way, you're allowed to have an opinion different to a player. Like LeBron James wanted to play with Russell Westbrook and they kind of suck together. Players that have been really good together have not wanted to play with each other. It is what it is. But the thing is, the Indiana Fever are kind of screwed. I don't think people realize how badly the Indiana Fever are screwed. So let's take a look at the Indiana Fever's cap sheet. And this is why I'm saying that like they might lose Kelsey Mitchell at the end of this year. So, Aaliyah Boston's cap hit is 14% right now. Aaliyah Boston goes up to a 20% cap hit. So let's bring out the calculator. So Lexi Hull goes up to 850K next year. So if I'm not like, I think Lexi Hull goes up to like a 13% cap hit next year or something. So what is it? 850 divided by... So it's 12% cap hit. So Lexi goes up to maybe like 11.5% cap hit from 10. Sophie Cunningham's gone. And Caitlin Clark's cap hit goes higher. I think her cap hit goes to 9 next year, even on her rookie deal. Raven Johnson's goes up to, I think, around 5. So let's just whip out the calculator. Let's say Kelsey Mitchell signs for the regular max. So Aaliyah Boston is at 20% plus what they already have before Caitlin Clark. So they're at 20% for Aaliyah Boston plus, let's just say again, let's say she goes under the max. Let's say she goes 15% instead of 17% for Kelsey plus 11 for, let's just say 11.5 for Lexi. It's 12% now. Plus, and it goes up 5% total. So plus, let's say, I think Mo's on 2 years, 800. So, I think her stays at that. So let's bring her down to maybe 11. 11-ish. And Sophie's gone. So Caitlin's, I think, goes up to 9. This is her on her rookie deal without signing an Epic. And let's say Caitlin's gone. Plus, and all the minimum players are 3.5%. So right now, from just the big core 4, they're at 57%. So and that's no Caitlin Clark. That is no Caitlin Clark. Let's say Caitlin Clark let's say she's going to go under the max. So plus 15 equals 72.5% for 5 players. That means they've got 7 players to fill. And you can get them at an average of the minimum. 4% is Raven's salary. And when you include Raven's salary in that, if Caitlin takes a haircut, they have to buy a whole team on the minimum. They literally, like that, you're not winning a title. If you have to, like, you might have to trade Raven Johnson. Someone says, why am I so thick? They do like the Liberty and stay less. Are you dumb? Do you want to know why the Liberty made it work? Because no one took the Supermax. Aaliyah's already taken the Supermax. She's already signed the Supermax. Aaliyah takes a 5% pay bump. She takes, a 6% pay bump. She's already taken, it doesn't matter if the cap, it's about percentages. It's about percentages. Aaliyah taking 20% of the cap. Kelsey Mitchell's not going to take 20% of the cap. But even on a regular max, that's 17. Kelsey Mitchell, let's say even this is Kelsey Mitchell taking 400K less than the regular max. And Caitlin taking 400K less than the regular max. They cannot even afford a team. Like, Caitlin's going to have to play on her rookie deal for another year. And you lose Sophie Cunningham. And the rest of your team are minimum contracts. Like, that's not a title-winning team. I don't think people get this. Like, If the Indiana Fever somehow have to find a way of getting off Mo Billings and Lexi Hull, Aaliyah cannot rework her contract. She signed for 4 years. She can't take a pay cut for something she's already signed. She's already signed it. She's already signed the contract. The cap number is irrelevant. She's already signed it. She's already signed. We'll work it out. You're talking to the front office that chose Lexi Hull over Kelsey Mitchell. You were talking to the front office who's paying Lexi Hull $850K next year. They're paying Lexi Hull $850K. Like, the Indiana Fever are somehow going to have to find a Maisha Hines-Allen replacement on a minimum, which you're not going to do. A Sophie Cunningham replacement on a minimum, which is going to be Bree fucking Hall. It's going to be Bree Hall. They have to get Lexi and Billings off the books. I'm not even joking. They have to get Lexi and Billings off the books and somehow do that without giving up a first-round pick. They couldn't even get Nalissa off the books without giving up a first-round pick. Nalissa is so much better than both of them. They couldn't even give Nalissa Smith on a rookie contract off the books without giving up a first. And the problem is, we used a first-round pick on Raven Johnson. This is so much easier if we just had Medina Okot or Nell Angloma. This is so much easier. If we had Medina Okot, it's easy. You give up a first-round pick, so be it, just to get off Mo Billings. But you start Okot, Aaliyah, you're good. You're good. The problem is now, you can't do that anymore. You can't do that because if you get off Monique Billings and you give up your first-round pick, that's where you're supposed to be getting your power forward in a non-power forward draft. In a draft with no real bigs, you are supposed to be, you are supposed to draft bigs. If you can draft a big, because bigs cost so much in free agency. But they didn't. They genuinely didn't. They wasted a pick on a player that might get fucking cut next year. If Ty Harris wants to stay, and Ty Harris is willing to stay, at again, around 5% of the salary cap. By the way, if she stays at 5% of the salary cap, and Caitlin, again, takes even an Aaliyah contract this year, which is way under the max, then all of a sudden, Raven becomes potentially cut. There is a world where Raven Johnson gets cut next year. And they had a chance for Medina Okot. And nobody is taking Lexi Hull's contract for free. Maybe you can convince a Portland to take Lexi for a second-round pick. But as long as Lexi Hull and Monique Billings are on the roster, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell are not. We need to be very clear about that. Unless both of them are off the roster. Sorry, if both of them are on the roster, one of Caitlin Clark or Kelsey Mitchell is gone. If neither of them are on the roster, maybe the Indiana Fever have a bit of cap space to work something out. And the problem is, all the Fever had all off season, they should have tripped and fell into Emma Chikova. How does Minnesota get Emma Chikova? She played with KK. If you were scouting KK overseas, you should have tripped and fell into seeing they have a 21-year-old starting center while KK's playing 2 minutes per game. You should have tripped and fell into Emma Chikova, who would have been a starting or bench level big for 4 years on a minimum. You should have tripped and fell into her. You need to go out of your way to look at every single off-season league. Every single overseas league. Amber Cox should not be in America for 1 day. For 1 day of the off-season. Amber and Kelly should not be in America for 1 day. You should be in Australia. You should be in in everywhere in Europe. You should be in China. You should be looking. Someone's saying teams will want Lexi at 850K a year. Are you fucking dumb? He's paying Lexi like a superstar to get burned every single possession on the defensive end. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. But like, Amber Cox and Kelly should not be spending one day in America. If they spend one day in America, they've done something wrong. They should be trying to find who the Sydney Taylor is because they need a bench scorer. They should be trying to find who the next Sydney Taylor is. They should be trying to find who the new Emma Chikova is, who the next Kat Westbeld is going to be. They need to be searching in every one of these leagues. They need to be scouting down freaking Project B all the time, but that's mostly WNBA players. They need to be scouting every single league in the world to try find whoever is going to be their starting power forward. Because you're going to have to get off money billings, and you're not going to find a minimum contract starting power forward because you're probably going to lose your first round pick getting off money billings. It is what it is. It is what it is. No, the Mercury have no, which is right for 3 more years. The Indiana Fever are in cap hell. They are in cap hell. They have $6,500 cap in cap room. They have $0 in cap room. They're probably going to keep Demiris Dantas next year. They are probably keeping fucking Dantas next year. Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is going to be to keep Caitlin Kelsey and build a competitive roster. It is extremely, extremely, extremely hard for the Indiana Fever to do that. And it would involve, again, them doing the best job scouting in history. It would involve them being, again, one of the best scouts ever. It would be. Like, it would involve their scouting having to be, S tier. Like, some of the best we have ever seen. And then maybe they could fit together a roster. But they just don't. They just don't have the scouting. They don't have the cap room. They don't have anything. They don't have anything that makes me think they can put together a competitive roster. And, the big three isn't good enough to win by themselves. They're just not, especially when you've got a borderline incompetent roster around them. Who's the fourth best player in this team? Sophie Cunningham? Fifth best player is Ty Harris? I'm sorry, it's not. That's not a title-winning team. And this is probably the best this roster is ever going to look. That's the scariest part about all this. That is the best this roster is going to look. Which is scary. Which is really, really scary.